Can I give you my Drake Maye comp now?
Yeah. Go
Ready?
ahead. That's why I'm delaying it.
I spoke to an NFL offensive coordinator this morning. The comp I was given for Drake Maye was Mitch Trubisky. Now, again, this is somebody
Were you at the Pittsburgh game? Did you
he-
see him read coverage in the Pittsburgh game? Did you have fun watching that
I was
one?
there. I was there.
Any other game I've called against him, it's so simplistic.
He beat up the Patriots pretty good in Chicago a few years ago. You remember that?
because he ran.
Right.
He didn't throw, he ran.
Right.
Yeah. Good athlete.
Not exactly what you want with the number 3 overall pick. Now, this person said, listen, he has more of a track record than Trubisky did all those years ago. He was basically a one-year wonder for North Carolina. And part of me wonders if somewhere subconsciously, now you would think an NFL offensive coordinator and their front office as they prepare for the combine and later the draft would be beyond this kind of thing. But you wonder if there is some subconscious, well, Mitch Trubisky wore 10 at UNC and so did Drake Maye, and so they just sort of remind me of each
Howell
other.
came from there, and they're all kind of the same guy. But to your bigger point, the comparisons are real, meaning whoever's making that final decision, that final pick, is going to take everything into account. So you're going to go through all the comps, all the comparables, and you're going to see the name Mitch Trubisky, and you're going to go, pass. So if you really like Drake Maye, and you work in the organization, I wouldn't comp him to Mitch Trubisky, to the boss.
No, you're going to be leaning towards your Justin Herbert comps, which he also gets.
Which I've gotten, yes.
He's had Jordan Love comps, to bring up a name that you just mentioned.
I've heard those too, but like the Herbert ones, it's more of a stiffer, toned down Herbert. Not that he's going to be Justin Herbert. He's Herbert-like in a way, but not 70% Herbert.
Well, and that's the argument for him, right? So just to play devil's advocate,
I take that over Trubisky
because I do like Maye. I'm like you.
I do too.
I like Drake Maye. He has the prototypical size. He has the arm. He has the ability to throw off platform, which we know is a necessity in today's game at that position. And to me, he's even better in that regard than Jaden Daniels, who's the better athlete of the two. But when it comes to throwing on the move, right, off platform, strange arm angles, I think Drake Maye has probably got a higher ceiling in that regard.
I give you that. That's the Herbert-like comparison in it. And you ever listen to Cerrone Battle talk about him?
Sounds like he doesn't love everything he's heard about him.
Cerrone lives
off
down
the
there,
field.
watched him a lot, heard things off the field. You know, when you're in it and you see it really close, I think sometimes that oversaturates it for you too. And I'm not saying I'm not being critical of Cerrone. I'm actually listening to Cerrone. Like I'll take it. He's seen him more than me. That's for sure. Like when you're down there and you see Carolina play every weekend, that's different. Now you got stuff to build off.
Well, and you look at the last couple of games of the year for UNC, you get smoked by NC State. You get smoked by West Virginia. You score 10 points against West Virginia.
NC State and West Virginia.
Now, did he play? I should actually double check that. I should not just be looking at scores here because that was a bowl game, and we know that these guys don't play in the bowl games anymore. Looks like he did not play in that bowl game. So scratch that. Sorry, Drake. Sorry to the Maye family. But his last couple of games in college were not strong. And the competition there is not the same as it is
Gaylord Falker
for Jaden Daniels. So Jaden Daniels is playing up against the SEC, and he has better talent around him. There's no question. He might have two receivers that he played with at LSU, Jaden Daniels,
They're first-rounders.
that are going to be first-round picks.
Yeah.
So it's a little different, but the level of comp that he's seeing on the other side is very different and much better at the same time. And so I would prefer, if I'm the Patriots, I'm praying that Jaden Daniels gets to 3. And I'm praying that the team at
That's
2.
what I do.
I'm praying that Washington falls in love with Maye's size and his arm and his ceiling, and Jaden Daniels gets to New England.
That is your ultimate scenario right there. That's like the jackpot scenario. Here's plan A. If Daniels is there at 3, we're jumping on him, we're taking him. And I'm fully in on that. If it's not him and Maye falls, phone lines are open.
Hoping for him to fall is all well and good. How about making a call yourself? Seeing if you can move up to 2.
There's some merit to that.
Be proactive about it.
There's some merit to that.
You know, if you don't like Drake Maye,
I'd make the call.
Yeah, and that's not to say that you can make the deal, but you have to make the call, and you have to be willing to blow.
I'm not
them
giving
away.
number ones up to jump up one spot.
For a quarterback, I would. If you think Jaden
Look at the
Daniels
state of the
is
roster.
that guy,
You got to look at the state of the roster.
I get it, Zoe.
You got to look at the misses
stinks.
here.
The roster stinks. But if you think Jaden Daniels is a transformational figure at the quarterback position, you need to make that trade.
You make the
gotta go get
call
him.
to find out if Washington doesn't love the second and third quarterbacks in this year's draft class. Because the only way that Washington would trade out is if they're not interested, right? Maybe they want Caleb Williams, but as soon as he's off the board at number 1 overall, and that is the expectation based on everyone I've spoken to, that the Chicago Bears are going to take him number 1. So if Washington determines we don't actually like the other two guys, and we don't only want to trade out of number 2, we want to trade out of the top 3 entirely, because everything you hear, again, and we'll go to the Combine next week, and there'll be more buzz, and there'll be more intel to pull from Indy. But everything you hear is the quarterbacks are going 1, 2, and 3. It's just a question of who's taking them there, because there is the opportunity for these teams to trade out. Let's get a quick phone call in here, because Mike, who's in the car, agrees with Zoe. He says no thank you on Drake Maye at 3 overall. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, guys. Just wanted to say that Drake Maye, if you watch his tape, he drifts. So he drifts to the receiver he wants to throw to, and NFL safeties are going to eat that up. And when he runs out and the safeties cover, then he's going to try and make a play with his legs, and he always runs into
edge rushers will eat that up. As people that won't be fans of that will be your tackles. They're trying to hold back guys coming off the edge. Yeah, good luck with that.
They want to know where you are.
Guys trying to block Chris Jones.
Right. They want to be able to take their pass sets, understanding where you'll be in the pocket.
Yeah.
Now, the pushback to that is, well, it's the reality of the NFL that you're going to have to deal with pressure. And so if he's accustomed to drifting and throwing off platform, that's okay, because what does Patrick Mahomes do on 75% of his dropbacks?
Yeah.
He is moving.
Yeah, and it could be trying to create throwing lanes also. So be careful with the tape. Like, if you can't see, I'm going to slide a little bit. Stuff that shorter quarterbacks usually have to do to create vision lanes.
Let's get to Jason, who's on the Cape. He has a take with the third pick related to the third pick as well. Jason, you're up.
Yeah, third pick. If May's there at 3, I'm trading back. I've seen. And
starting a movement here. We're starting a movement.
Yeah, well, he's a second and third round talent, I think, in a normal draft. I don't think he's a top 3 pick. But because the NFL has turned into a desperation quarterback league, they've pushed this lower tier talent way up to the top of the list.
Yeah, but you know what? There's nothing you can do about that. And that's this year, and this is what the market is. And I love doing this too. Like, let's redraft that Mac Jones class. Where would you take these guys? Like, that's a fun thing to do after you have them for 3 years and you get it. I'm with you. He's probably like, during my days, when the Marinos are gone, to Jim Kelly's, going back to Peyton, we saw Brady at 199. All these guys, Roethlisberger first rounder. He's probably in the 20s. He's probably a low first round pick, but because it's this year, and the demand and the need and the drop off from 3 to 4, he elevates to 3. Don't hate the market, man.
He has rare physical talent. Let's get to Coop real quick before we break. Coop in the car has a take. Oh, and I just dropped him.
Nice
That's
job,
me
Phil.
being a rookie.
Good job, Phil.
That is a rookie mistake if
Sensitive
you've ever
buttons.
seen one. Coop, call back.
Yeah.
Coop, call back. We'll get you right on. I think evaluators, though, and this is why he is ranked so highly early in the process and has been really throughout the course of the year, right, is it's the scouts. The scouts who are looking at these guys and are providing the initial intel to teams on these players. And so they've been on Drake Maye for multiple years now. He's had 2 good – he's not Mitch Trubisky in this regard. He's had 2 good years at UNC where the numbers look good. And you pair the numbers with the size and the arm and the athleticism, and you say, okay, we've got something here. I wonder if the coaches now, because now is when the coaches get involved, if the coaches start to – and again, I spoke to an offensive coordinator today. He hasn't watched – every game of Drake Maye since the beginning of September. He's just started digging into him, and he's given me a Mitch Trubisky take. If the coaches start to get a little bit more involved, are they turned off by what you're talking about, the skittishness in the pocket when he sees pressure? Is that a problem for them? Whereas for the scouts, they see the high end, and they want to believe in the high end.
Yeah.
That, to me, could impact how he's viewed. Here's Coop now. Coop, you're on with us to talk about that third pick.
Thanks, Phil, for dropping me.
I've already apologized for that, Coop. I won't do it again.
It's okay, buddy. I completely agree with that NFL scout. Drake Maye is literally Mitchell Trubisky 2.0.
Oh, God.
He's not going to be a successful quarterback, I feel like. He's more of a system quarterback, and he worked out pretty well in North Carolina, but that's not going to translate over to the NFL level. I personally don't think so. I've been saying this for months. He's going to be Mitchell 2.0.
All right, Coop. Thanks for the call. That was the call that I got today from an offensive coordinator.
If he is anywhere near that and he becomes Mitch Trubisky 2.0, do you know how far back you will set this organization?
5 years, at least,
Minimum.
minimum.
It's 3 if you nail it. 2 to 3. Look at the Lions. Lions were a 3-win team 3 years ago. Made a massive trade at quarterback, though. So you're getting a former first-round pick, number 1 overall pick. That's rolling the dice. And you had a franchise guy. You traded away a franchise guy to go get a guy that you weren't sure was going to be your franchise. And it worked.
See, I would just argue, though, and I understand what you're saying, Zoe, but I would argue if you don't get a franchise quarterback, you're setting your franchise back forever at this point in the NFL.
The question is,
Look at Tampa and how they found Mayfield post Brady.
And how far is that going to get you?
I don't know. Get you in the mix.
Gets you in
we're
the
not
playoffs.
right now. We're not in the mix with anything. Like we're an after comment.
get
Being
you
in
to
the
relevancy.
Being in the
relevancy,
mix,
McCarthy.
Being in the mix in the NFL.
All you got to do is get to 8
difficult.
wins.
It's
8 wins.
Not that hard.
8 wins and you're in it. You're that group of 6 to 9, still in the hunt. Still in the hunt.